The next speaker is a friend and travel partner, Caroline Mount.
These are non-FIT.
Good.
And these thoughts about Lou are my husband Marshall's, as well as mine. Marshall and I got to know Lou not because both he and Marshall taught at FIT, but because of Lou's passion for travel, his desire to explore the unfrequented, out-of-the-way places of the world. We met at an FIT Christmas party where Marshall and I had talked about being in Indonesia. Within a week, Lou and Jeanette had traveled from Manhattan to Jersey City, in New Jersey, where we live, to pick our brains. For those of you not from New York City, I have to tell you that it is one project getting New Yorkers to cross that river to come to see us. So we were impressed right away. And then, based on little more than our itinerary and enthusiasm, Lou and Jeanette up and went. No tour, just the two of them, to Sulawesi, to Bali, to Java, to other great areas of Indonesia, which they loved and where they shopped. You've seen the textiles and the masks and the puppets. Marshall and I knew we had found kindred spirits. Lou's endearing qualities shone extra bright for us when he traveled. He wanted to go everywhere because he loved people. He appreciated the grand variety of all there is to see in our world. Lou wanted to learn about political systems and labor, and unions, of course, wherever he went, and the languages and the cultures and the art. He was ready to paddle down the rivers and wander through simple villages and sophisticated cities. From a Chinese minority group, Meow Village, which I think is on one of the pictures here, with Lou and his reindeer, and to go through Shanghai, and yes, to London and to Paris, but also to Agadez on the edge of the Sahara, to game parks in Botswana, and to Cusco and Lake Titicaca in the Andean mountains of Peru and Bolivia. The four of us walked through major Inca ruins and nearly broke our necks at a minor one, whose narrow path sported precipitous drops. We camped out together in the magic and the quiet of the Sahara, although I do have to confess that Marshall and I managed to miss the only unattractive campsite, which was by a local garbage dump. And Lou and Jeanette have never forgiven us. We listened to Mozart in a canoe going up the Amazon and photographed Lou uncharacteristically still, but still smiling, while a beautiful and large anaconda snake curled around his neck and his arms. We weren't surprised when Lou tried his Spanish in Peru, but did a double take when he asked Chinese Meow villages where the bathroom was in Chinese, more or less. Lou danced with local people at festivals, and he respectfully, with obvious genuine interest, asked about their lives. And he and Marshall together honed their bargaining skills so we could buy yet another mask that we had no room for at home. Lou was a trooper, not put off by roughing it, like calmly traveling for hours in China on routes that were more pothole than road. Lou just focused on the glistening rice paddies and on greeting and admiring local people in traditional colorful dress whom we'd see along the way, walking or working in their fields. Lou was always warm and helpful and funny. On the first morning of our first trip together, I was late, which I tend to be, not very, just a tad. And before I even got to the bottom of the steps, I was apologizing. And Lou put his hands on my shoulders and he said, "This isn't boot camp, Caroline. You're on vacation. Relax." Oh, what a therapist that man was. And when we were in 120-degree heat, they actually did 140 at the garbage dump. I wasn't there. When we were in 120-degree heat, watching the Wadabe Nomads beauty contest and dancing in Niger, which I'm sure you know from Jeanette's incredible photos, Lou, though suffering through the heat, found the energy to prod and tease us about how had we found this crazy tour leader who was guiding us, who actually made phone calls to Arizona from Africa to find out so that her dog could hear her voice and know that all was well. I said, well, maybe she can be a patient for you if we ever survive this place. Lou declined, but he was rarely put off. For example, not when, after a long day traveling in China, we found that our adjacent rooms offered an unusual intimacy. The walls separating our bathrooms had not been finished. There was just a sliver of open space, it's true. Not enough to walk through, just for a friendly handshake. Opportunity moments. So Lou slept and questioned, and he read and extended small kindnesses, gifts to children, tips to drivers. His and Jeanette's circle of friends grew with every trip they took, because it didn't take long for people to want to keep them as their friends. And at one point during the past terrible month, Jeanette told me, "Lou's getting better. He's planning our trips for the spring." How we wish he could have taken those. How we will miss Lou every time we go somewhere, and also when we just stay at home.